Breaking news out of Las Vegas. The Raiders have made their decision at quarterback, and it's a move no one saw coming. Geno Smith is the man under center heading into 2025. Now the real question is, do the Raiders actually have a chance to compete this season with him leading the charge? We're diving deep into what this decision means, not just for Geno, but for the entire future of the Raiders franchise. And we're breaking down what it could look like when Geno goes head-to-head with some of the NFL's top defenses. But before we get into the details, make sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like, and turn on that bell so you never miss the latest Raiders updates. Alright, Raider Nation. Let's get into what this means for 2025. How dangerous can this team actually be with Geno Smith at the helm? We've got every angle covered, starting with Game 1 all the way to the final stretch of the season. Before we get into Geno Smith's fit in this offense, Raider Nation lost someone irreplaceable this weekend. Longtime fan and Raider legend in his own right, Raider Mort, passed away. A name many in the nation know well, Mort was more than a supporter. He was a walking encyclopedia of Raiders history, a devoted fan who followed this team across continents, and someone who bled silver and black in every sense. When the official Raiders account shares a tribute, you know it's someone special. Mort's loyalty and energy were unmatched, and while I never met him personally, the love pouring in from fans says everything about the impact he made. We send our deepest condolences to his family, friends, and the entire Raider community. Moments like these remind us that being a Raider isn't just about football, it's about family. And speaking of family, let's talk about something Raider Nation should keep an eye on this week. A new project is picking up steam, a Raider-focused live stream hosted by myself, Chantel Chan, and Raiders great Lincoln Kennedy. We've only done a couple of these so far, but it's already become a powerful new way to talk about this team in real time. From offensive line questions to the defense's ability to close games, we're breaking it all down. Lincoln's insight from the trenches is unmatched, and every conversation with him brings a new layer to what we can expect in 2025. It's early, but the feedback has been strong, and this Raider squad breakdown is only getting started. Let's talk real football now. We've heard it 1,000 times. If you have a quarterback, you have a chance. But what kind of chance do the Raiders really have in 2025 with Geno Smith? To answer that, we need to look at the first 7 games of the season, the stretch that often defines a team's direction. On paper, this roster looks solid. Weapons on offense, young talent on defense, coaching stability, but all eyes are on Geno. Can he lead this group through the fire early? Because the Raiders aren't easing into anything. That opening slate features a tough mix of physical defenses and playoff-caliber teams. The pressure will be on Geno to prove he's not just a placeholder, but a legitimate leader in the AFC. It's not just about how many wins they get in those first 7. It's about how they win or lose. Are they competing? Are they finishing drives? Are they closing games in the fourth quarter? The first half of the schedule will reveal if Geno Smith was the right choice, or if the Raiders will be shopping for a new answer at QB before the year's even over. Stay locked in, because what we're seeing from this team early could shape the entire season. Let's face it, the AFC West is a battlefield. And for the Raiders to climb out of a 4-win season, the play at quarterback has to be sharp, consistent, and fearless. Geno Smith is stepping into a pressure cooker, but does he give the Raiders the edge where it matters most, head-to-head at QB? Let's start with Week 1. The Raiders hit the road to face the Patriots, who are rolling out second-year QB Drake May. He's got talent, sure, but he's still raw. With a new head coach in Mike Vrabel and a defense-heavy approach, New England may still be figuring things out. Geno's experience and arm give the Raiders a real edge in the opener. Week 2, that's when the test gets serious. It's Monday Night Football against the Chargers, and while critics are right to question Justin Herbert's playoff resume, there's no denying his skill. Over 3,800 yards, 23 touchdowns, and just 3 picks last year, he's efficient and explosive. Yes, Geno had more yards, over 4,300, but he also took 50 sacks and threw 15 interceptions. Numbers don't lie, and in this matchup, the quarterback edge belongs to the Chargers. This is the kind of game that separates playoff hopefuls from pretenders. If Geno wants to prove he belongs among the league's top-tier passers, this is the spotlight moment to do it. Week 3, Raiders at Commanders. Geno Smith will be lining up across from a breakout star, Jayden Daniels, who led Washington to the doorstep of the Super Bowl as a rookie. Over 3,500 yards, 25 touchdowns, and an ability to make plays with his legs, Daniels is fearless in the clutch. As much as Raider Nation may hate to hear it, advantage, Commanders. Week 4, Bears come to Vegas. This one's different. Caleb Williams is still adjusting. New head coach, new system. And even though he's loaded with potential, he took a whopping 68 sacks last season. Gino, with his veteran presence and experience, has the upper hand here. Advantage, Raiders. Week 5, on the road in Indy. The Colts quarterback situation, a complete question mark. Daniel Jones has bounced around and looked shaky. Anthony Richardson's injury history clouds his future. Whoever starts, the Raiders have the more stable and proven quarterback. Advantage, Raiders. Week 6, Titans visit Allegiant. Tennessee is likely rolling out rookie Cam Ward. First-year quarterbacks, especially on the road, are vulnerable. If the Raiders' defense shows up early, Geno simply needs to manage the game smartly. Advantage, Raiders. Week 7, the big one before the bye, at Kansas City. Let's be honest, when you're facing Patrick Mahomes and Arrowhead, almost no one has the quarterback advantage. Geno's good. Mahomes is generational. The Raiders will need to win with defense and discipline. Advantage, Chiefs. So by the bye week, the Raiders will have faced a mix of young, rising quarterbacks and MVP caliber talent. Geno Smith won't be the best QB in every matchup, but if he holds his ground and the Raiders come out 4-3 or better, that's a clear sign this team is trending up. So here's where things start to get serious. The Raiders head into the bye week potentially sitting at 4-3. That's not just a hopeful record, it's realistic, especially if Geno Smith continues to control the offense and minimize mistakes. But now we flip to the second half of the season. Week 9, Raiders versus Jaguars. On the surface, this should be a major quarterback showdown. Except Trevor Lawrence hasn't looked the part. Despite a $50+ million price tag, he hasn't lived up to expectations. Last year, just 11 touchdowns, 7 picks, and only 10 games played. Injuries, coaching changes, it's been chaos in Jacksonville. Unless Lawrence comes out of nowhere and finds his stride midseason, advantage Raiders in this one. Geno's steady hand gives Las Vegas the edge. Week 10, at Denver. This is where it gets tricky. Bo Nix may not be a household name yet, but he's quickly becoming one. Nearly 3,800 yards, 29 touchdowns, and a playoff appearance as a rookie? That's more than impressive, that's legit. He fits Sean Payton's offense perfectly, and the Broncos are finally showing signs of being dangerous again. While Geno has the experience, Bo Nix looks like the ascending star here. In a hostile Denver environment on a short week, it's hard to deny the truth. Advantage, Broncos. So now, with half the season behind them and playoff hopes still alive, the Raiders will need to tighten up every week. Because from this point on, there's no room for mistakes, especially when it comes to quarterback play. Let's keep breaking it down, quarterback versus quarterback. Where does Geno Smith stack up as the second half of the Raiders season unfolds? Week 11, Raiders host the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, it's Dak Prescott across the field, but let's be honest, the hype rarely matches the result. He's a $60 million quarterback who doesn't run anymore, has struggled to stay healthy, and has never quite shown that elite-level spark when it matters most. Sure, Dallas racks up regular season wins, but Dak disappears when the lights get brightest. With a new coach and a whole lot of pressure, this matchup feels closer than some might think. Geno isn't perfect, but he's steady in this one. Advantage, Raiders. Week 12, Raiders versus Browns. This quarterback room is chaos. Will it be Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, or Shedeur Sanders? The Browns themselves might not even know. Between aging veterans, underwhelming cast-offs, and raw rookies, Cleveland's quarterback situation is as uncertain as any in the league. With stability under center in Geno Smith, the Raiders easily take this one. No debate. Advantage, Raiders. So now, after facing a playoff-tested Bo Nix and the ever-frustrating Dak Prescott, Las Vegas walks into weeks 11 and 12 with real chances to control the game at the most important position. And if they capitalize, the second half of 2025 could tilt in their favor fast. The final stretch of the 2025 season brings high-pressure matchups, and every quarterback battle matters. Week 13 at the Chargers. No need to repeat the scouting report. Justin Herbert is gifted, big arm, smart decision maker. But talent doesn't always equal rings, and he's yet to prove he can carry a team deep into January. Still, compared to Geno, advantage, Chargers. Week 14 at the Broncos. Same story with Bo Nix. He led Denver to the playoffs in his rookie year and looks like Sean Payton's guy. Until further notice, advantage, Broncos. Week 15 at the Eagles. Jalen Hurts might have had modest passing numbers last season, but the guy won a Super Bowl and added 14 rushing touchdowns. The Eagles ride on his dual-threat engine. Between him and that Philly defense, the edge is clear. Advantage, Eagles. Week 16 vs Texans. C.J. Stroud's rookie magic faded a bit last season. Protection issues, turnover regression, it wasn't smooth. Houston tried to reload this offseason, but with no more Laramie Tunsil and a new offensive coordinator, it's tough to know what version of Stroud shows up. Gino may not be flashy, but he's consistent, and that matters late in the year. Advantage, Raiders. Week 17 vs Giants. This quarterback situation, a mess. Russell Wilson trying to revive his career, Jameis Winston being Jameis, or a raw rookie like Jackson Dart. By this point, the Giants' season might already be unraveling, and their front office could be in chaos. Geno Smith wins this one on stability alone. Advantage, Raiders. Week 18 home versus the Chiefs. And finally, the closer, Patrick Mahomes. Do we even need to talk? One of the best to ever do it, still in his prime, still dangerous. Doesn't matter the venue. Advantage, Chiefs. So across this back half of the schedule, the Raiders grab QB advantage in weeks 16 and 17, maybe even enough to swing a playoff push. It all hinges on how consistently Geno can deliver in tight, late-season moments. Week 18, Chiefs at Allegiant Stadium. Let's be honest, the Raiders have never beaten Kansas City in their new home. Not once, not even when the Super Bowl was held there. That's Mahomes' territory, and until proven otherwise, advantage Chiefs. But here's the wild card. Will Mahomes even play in Week 18? What if the Chiefs have already locked up their playoff seeding? And what if this game actually matters more to the Raiders than to Kansas City? We've seen this before. Remember 2021? The Raiders took down the Chargers in an overtime thriller and punched their ticket to the postseason. This could be one of those games, one with everything on the line. Or it could mean absolutely nothing. Too early to tell. Now zoom out. Let's count the matchups. From weeks 1 through 18, there are 9 games where the Raiders hold the edge at quarterback. Not just maybe, clearly. That includes showdowns against the Patriots, Bears, Colts, Titans, Jaguars, Cowboys, Browns, Texans, and Giants. Geno Smith won't outflash the elite QBs in the league, but 9 winnable quarterback duels? That's a path to 8 or 9 wins. And when you've got steady QB play, that's a chance to stay competitive all year long. Of course, quarterback edge doesn't guarantee victory. But if the Raiders take care of business in the games where they should have the upper hand, then don't be shocked if this team is sniffing a wild card spot. Bottom line, this team has more control over their fate than people realize. The schedule says opportunity is there. Now it's on the silver and black to take it.